Hello, and hola and bonjour, wherever you are. Greetings to you. As you know, we're here as your learning partner, and we're here for those who refuse to stagnate. Moving forward, we're opening the channels to have you also contribute and suggest the wake-up call topics. You can watch for it on social media, or just drop us an email, or connect with us even maybe today in the chat. Um, AI tools, as some of you may know, call our very non-academic academy radically transformational. But it only works if you're ready to transform and dive deeper. I certainly like to encourage you to choose to evolve because we all deserve more. So let's jump in. Let's begin. As normal, we're going to start with the wake-up call, then a quick Q&A session, and hopefully we're going to have Rachel joining us. She usually was supposed to join earlier. She's not here yet, but I'm hoping that she will be able to make it. The and she'll be on the hot seat, obviously. Last wake-up call, we focused on competency, commitment, and risk, and the interaction between those three ideas, concepts, forces, if you would. We said risk is framed by our competency, not just skills, our competency. And then it's backed by our commitment. So competency impacts almost everything. Our design, our innovation, our productivity, our revenue generation, and our team, our culture, everything. To be competent is essentially to choose to be skillful. And what that means is to be able to pull together all of our skills in a way that it leads to impact. But a couple of things that remain, questions that remain. One is, how do we become competent? And the other is, what should we commit to? Today, I want to talk about a seemingly esoteric concept, but in reality, it's a very simple concept. It's a simple idea rooted in physics, and we're going to use physics to do that, uh, to kind of dig into it. But it's a simple idea uh, of resonance, and maybe a complicated, if you would, quantum mechanics uh, idea that goes with it. Now, what is resonance? First, resonance is when two systems vibrate at the same frequency and amplify each other in energy or that frequency. You may have seen this, the fork example, or other things, that when an object begins to behave in a certain way, close objects with the same frequency begin to behave in the same way. Um, Now think of it this way. Have you ever seen a situation or been in a situation that just everything clicks? Um, you've seen, I don't know, an organization that clicks. You've seen a relationship, a couple that click. You've sat with your friends in an evening and everything clicks. That's when everything is humming together. It's at the same frequency, essentially. Now, mindful resonance is about aligning uh, your internal state, your emotions, your beliefs, your mindset, with external realities, how the world is, its uncertainties, its situation, where you are, where others are. Um, it's aligning your thoughts and emotions with your realities, choices, and actions in order to amplify your impact. I'm not talking about being positive or motivational stuff. Resonance is about being constructive. It's an act of building, not an act of desiring to be positive or feeling positive or negative. Um, the second thing is to see your entrepreneurship through a lens of quantum mechanics, interconnected, fluid reality with what they call a quantum field, a state of infinite potential, full of uncertainty and opportunity, with entanglement, with entanglement, linked particles. That's how quantum mechanics defines it. Linked particles that are instantly and constantly influencing each other. So the claim is that all are connected and influencing each other's behavior. So, so what does all of that have to do uh, with business, with entrepreneurship and your career? The purpose of entrepreneurship, the purpose of business, the purpose even of a career. It's not necessarily making a living, it's making an impact. And you create impact when you resonate constructively, both within and externally. So to create impact, there's a need for resonance. Now we use the physics as resonance being this vibration that allows others to vibrate at the same time. Maybe that's your organization, maybe that's your team, maybe that's your partner, maybe that's your organization, to resonate on the same level. But it's not just you and your environment and your mind and your inner beings. There's external things. There is the notion of interacting with others that comes into play. So simultaneously, in business and in life, certainty is an illusion, as we've talked about it. There are other talks that we've had about this idea of certainty and uncertainty. But the idea is in the entanglement argument and the quantum mechanics argument is that you can leverage uncertainty and find opportunities when you realize your entanglement, meaning when you realize that this connectivity exists, you realize that impact can be broader because we're all connected, and that can have much more effect than if we're operating in silos. So So what does it mean to resonate with others? Resonate with others, with who? With customers, with employees, investors, partners, with your society, with your family. Resonate with others. But in order for you to be able to do that, they have to be on the same frequency first, or you have to be on the same frequency first. What that means is you need to understand their reasons, their desires, their needs, their state of mind, and their reality. We've talked about this before, a few sessions and the videos and the conversational questions about this idea that you don't sell, people buy. Um, you because you just have a job description, that's not why people give you productivity, because they, for their own reasons and their state of beings, provide you. And in order for you to be able to leverage that, in order for you to be able to partner with that resonance in a way, you need to first understand and realize. So you need to understand their vibration state. And just because you're interested in your own ideas and your future, which is most of us where we get to it, we're interested in us, we're interested in our own being, in where we are. If that's the case, we are essentially disconnected. We're disconnected because we begin to block. We're disconnected because we don't understand the reasons. We're disconnected because we don't listen. We're disconnected for a number of reasons. And if we're disconnected, we cannot resonate. And if we don't resonate, we become irrelevant. And if we are irrelevant, there is no impact. And if there is no impact, your entrepreneurship, your work, your career, you are compromised. Entrepreneurship is all about entanglement and exchange of value with others. Now, again, I want to emphasize, it's not about you and your positivity and your desires. Um, some say, and I like to dispute that. Some say, oh, if all ideas and intentions vibrate, and if you hold it long enough, that's if you're committed to it, then the world begins to hum with your tune. Well, that's nonsense. It just doesn't work that way. It's a desire, but it doesn't hold. You see, prosperity, real prosperity, comes from your ability to first elevate your own constructive vibrations. We call it the bands of frequencies. Um, there is there's some studies by a fellow named Dr. I believe David Hawkins, who defines these bands of constructive, and he calls it emotions or consciousness or whatever. Uh, we actually have developed some sort of a assessment that would help you evaluate where you sit on that on his scale. But uh, back to the idea that first you have to elevate your own constructive vibrations. And those vibrations, elements, those constructive things are not about positivity or negativity. It's about where you are on a scale, and feeling shame, feeling guilt, having courage, feeling joy, being curious, those things that drives us towards accomplishments. Uh, and when we realize that, then we look for interconnectivity, for example, between fear and choice. That's when we begin to understand and connect ourselves with the realities within and external, and with the abilities that are out there in terms of what we can or cannot accomplish. Second, uh, we should realize that progress is not about planning to get to certainty. Progress is not doesn't come from planning to get to certainty. Um, it's about resonating with others and leveraging the ever-changing uncertainty. Uh, think in quantum terms, and I suggest be ready to fluctuate your resonance all the time, because change is inherent in everything that happens. So we're at time. Before we get to the Q&A and to our hot seat, I'd like to leave you with a few things to ponder on. Intentional and impactful entrepreneurship is rooted in resonance with reasons, yours and theirs. The reasons that drive business drive value exchange, the things that are worth committing to. It also comes from recognizing the nature of your constantly changing entanglement between you as the leader and your team, your employees, your customers, your investors, your partners, uh, and your family and your friends. Uh, Competency, lastly, is about activating your mindfulness to connect, define, and evolve yourself. And as a result, drive impact. Again, we have put together that list to for the resonance bands and so forth, which may be a little bit esoteric, but it'll make sense when you get into it. And you can ask for it on the chat today, or you can look for it on the social media stuff that would be available. Okay, with that, let's jump into our Q&A. Okay, a few questions here. Can you give a practical example of entanglement or quantum mechanics in relationship to entrepreneurship? Um, Absolutely. I know this sounds a little bit esoteric today, but here's a fact. The fact is, uh, in in entrepreneurship, let's take an example. You have a company, or you're trying to build a company. Um, you have your employees, you have your customers, you have your partners, you have your investors, and you have the society. Those are the five pillars. All of these people have direct influence in your success. All of them, all these five pillars. And they too are entrepreneurs. They all want to exchange what they have with something better, just like you. So your customers, the reason they're there is because they want to engage with you and they want to get some value from you, and in exchange they'll buy something from you, and that transaction makes you successful. At the same time, your employees are giving you their productivity and time. Investors are giving their money and attention, and partners are giving you services and so forth to make you successful. So all of those people have a role in your success. So there's where entanglement comes in. In quantum mechanics, it says that all particles are linked together, and as a result, instantly and in a continuous manner, they affect each other. If you don't understand the reasons of the customers, they will not buy from you. So, in a way, you are linked to the reasons of your customers. And your customers are linked to your employees because they're the ones who are developing and delivering value. So if you notice, all of those are always in a state of flux. You don't have the same customers, they change, the situations change. Look at the state of employment 5 years from now, before COVID, and now look at what customers want as Gen Z versus people in my generation. Customers are always changing, situations are always changing. That's the uncertainty that the quantum mechanics delivers. And the entanglement is the interaction between all of these together. If we don't understand these entanglement, we have compromised ourselves, meaning we're not able to resonate or understand how to deliver the value that they all deliver and satisfy their reasons. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Next question. What's your most unforgettable experience on matching frequencies with others that have helped you in your career or business? Most unforgettable experience. Um, that's a good question. I have to ponder on it for a minute. Uh, the the simplest one is one that I had last night. I was talking to a woman who's had a business and she's sold it, and now she's in this decision point of where she is and what she's going to do and all of that. And as we began to talk about opportunities, as we began to explore kind of where she is and where she's going, uh, I saw a light in her in her eyes, which reminded me of when I'm teaching at university or others. There is a point in any conversations that I'm having, hopefully having, or discussions or sessions as an advisor or as a board member or as an investor, where you see this light. And this light in the eyes tells me that something clicked. That means we are now communicating. And that is essentially a change in behavior and understanding. Last 2 weeks ago on our last wake-up call, we had such a moment. And again, if you haven't seen it, you can go watch it, where we talked about the dynamics of having a partner and all that with one of the entrepreneurs on the hot seat. And there was a moment when the frequencies matched. Now, those moments are moments of understanding, are moments of understanding. Now, the moments that you deliver a product to a client and they resonate with your value proposition are the moments that you have resonated on the same frequency. The moments that you see there is no communication, that means you are selling what you have. You're vibrating at this frequency, and the world is vibrating in a different frequency. When you feel that the culture of your organization isn't working, and people are behaving in a way that's not your desire or that's not productive, it's when communication is not happening. Communication doesn't happen when resonance doesn't happen. Um, so, if you want, we can go into that more, but let's move on to our next question here. How do you handle things when your business partner or his team is on a completely different frequency than you? That is a tremendous question. Uh, See, the thing that we are taught in this notion of if we are that the world essentially rotates around us, particularly young entrepreneurs say, "Hey, I have this idea, I want to have this impact, I want to create this." So we create this universe that we are at the center and others are interfering in our center, and either they hum with us or they're not with us. Um, the reason that you see this lack of frequency, if you would, or adjustments or resonance with your partner may be that that you don't understand his or her reasons properly. Sometimes we try to impose who we are onto where they are, trying to bring them in. A lot of times, creating that adjustments or resonance begins with listening and understanding others. Now, it may end up that at the end that you will not be on the same frequency. The fact of the matter is about over 50% of people get married and then they get divorced. So it's not an absolute, certainty that you can get on the same page. But the likelihood of getting on the same page significantly increases as we listen and understand the reasonings and what satisfies others. Oftentimes we don't. Again, there are conversations we've had about listening, and I've defined it as a very selfish act. Some of you may disagree. Um, but the question is not why are they on a different frequency. The question is Should I get on that frequency? Maybe it's a better frequency. Now, I'm not saying you should, but in order to understand that, the first thing is to look within, to see where we are with our fears, where we are with our biases, where we are with our perspective of the world, where is our assessment of the world outside, how realistic is it? And maybe there's something to learn and adjust. So, making the statement that they are not on my frequency makes you the center of the world and them an intrusive element into your central nerve. But again, entrepreneurship, progress comes from this entanglement of all of us together. And if we ignore one and we say my way or highway, most of the time it doesn't work. Uh, Sid, what does someone do differently on a Monday morning because of these ideas? That is an amazing question. It's amazing because you've taken things from here's what it is to what do I do. Now, I know as a culture, as a society, we've been trained through our education system to be given a list of here's the three things to do. And they have to be solid, and they have to be practical, and they have to be defensive. Um, we generally don't, as human beings, don't like to be confined by uncertainty. But the fact of the matter is, the world is uncertain and it's not defined, and there is no one, two, three things to do. Now, what do you do on Monday? I would say, as of Monday, I would do that beginning after the call is over. What I would try to do, well, what I do, is begin to see realize that it is everything is created from here. All of your ideas, all of your dreams and aspirations, every impact that you make, every relationship that you have, and how it unfolds, all of it begins in our mind. And there is in our mind, there are certain things. There is our emotions. There is our biases. In our mind is also the perception of how we see reality. So as of the next minute, I would begin to get myself with familiar without fooling myself with these elements. And then I try to activate those all the time. Here's what that means. If I hear something, I listen to see if it not to see if I can reply, but to see if I can map and learn something from it. Not that I would do what I hear, but what I would listen to is how does it challenge who I am, and can it be better? So I would try to activate my mindfulness. I would look at the reality of the world, not because I have a dream, but because I am capable through decision making and putting the pieces together to create something better. And then I can create yet another thing that is better. So uh, I hope that makes sense. Uh, Katie, I'm building a mission-driven business, knowing that a corporation's purpose is to create value for for the shareholders. I've taken steps to structure its business with legal backing for our mission. I am faced with how to maintain this balance of being mission-driven with shareholder value when it comes to the exit strategy. I am hoping to find mission-aligned buyer, but what else might I do to help preserve our mission as we go through funding rounds and my ownership is more and more diluted? A very, very uh, comprehensive question. So first, the purpose. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do this, but this is an excellent question. First of all, I'm going to ask our team, because of how you think, to give you full access to the academy at zero cost. If you could, uh, Christine, help make that happen. Second, I'd like to correct one thing because it's a misnomer. Uh, I am building a mission-driven business, knowing that a corporation's purpose is to create value for the shareholder. Your purpose is not to create value for the shareholder. Your purpose is to create value for the customers. Those are the ones who are impacted. And if you do that, you would be able to create indirectly value for the shareholders. Now, I'm not sure. I think our hot seat participant is not here today. There she is. So let's do this. If we can, Katie, because of time, I would love to get into this. Again, if we can give her full access, and these are excellent questions. And Christine, can you help and see if maybe we can get her on a hot seat for next session, or maybe when we have a Elevate circle to include her in the conversations. These are excellent questions. These are great, real, to the point where the rubber meets the road. All right. Thanks for the questions. So let me ask now, let's take a 1 minute break, and then after that, we'll get Rachel on board and get to our session.
Every other Friday, our members show up for the wake-up call. It's where fresh ideas spark, perspectives shift, and you walk away with something new to think about. And then we roll right into the hot seat, where real challenges get unpacked and real breakthroughs happen. But here's the secret: the wake-up call, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Once you step inside Anabasis Academy, you'll unlock your full dashboard, which is your gateway to everything the Academy offers, all in one place. It starts with the archives of every wake-up call and hot seat we've ever done. So if you miss a live session, or you want to relive that one insight that stuck with you, it's all right there, ready when you are. You'll also find our conversational collections, curated deep dives on powerful themes, weaving together different perspectives so you can explore them at your own pace. Then there's the Expert Circle, in-depth discussions with accomplished leaders and innovators, sharing the kind of hard-earned wisdom you won't find in a book or quick video. And of course, the Public Square, the heart of our community where ideas keep evolving even after the calls end, and where conversations often spark entirely new insights. You can even take all of this value with you on the go through downloading our mobile app. So the Academy is always at your fingertips. So if you've enjoyed what happens here live, just wait until you see the rest. We can't wait to welcome you inside.
Okay, Rachel, you there? And please unmute. There you go.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. We were about to give up on you.
No, I'm so sorry. I had a family emergency. Yeah.
Sorry to hear about that.
So sorry about that. I'm usually early instead of on time, but I'm glad to be here.
Well, it's good to be here, so we'll be easy on you. How about that?
Thank you. You don't have to be.
No, we're always easy, Rachel. We're always easy. We're always easy. Rachel, we haven't had I usually, as you know, spend 5, 10 minutes with folks to go through. Hey, we're not here to sell anything. We're not here to secure, funding of any sorts. We're
Yeah.
here to learn from each other. Your mindfulness. Each one of us have an experience that bring to the table. So it's not that I have extra wisdom that I'm gonna impart. It's together we're gonna explore things and see if the audience can also benefit from your wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, uh, first of all, I don't know how much of the first piece of our wake-up call were you able to listen to?
I just was able to log on, so I missed the first part.
Just okay. So we talked about this idea of resonance, which
Hmm.
is the idea of being able to both internally within ourselves resonate with who we are,
Hmm.
meaning being mindful about our fears, our commitments, our courage, our all the stuff that we are, because at the end of the day, everything that you do begins in your mind,
It
right?
does.
But it has a very clear direction, a very clear connection to the reality that you live in,
Hmm.
right? So every entrepreneur, every individual in the world is different. We all come from different backgrounds. We have different parents. We have different siblings. We have different financial situations. We live in different places in the world. We played with different toys. We love different people, right? We're very different, all of us.
We are.
And what you do is very different, meaning your business, what you're trying to accomplish is very different than what I've done. The people, the customers you sell to are different. The
Mhm.
times are different. Your value proposition is different. So everything about your entrepreneurship journey is kind of unique,
It is very much
right?
so.
So this idea that, hey, there are these uh, practical things and, yeah, skills are important. You need to know about how accounting works and how marketing works and but as a chef, you mix those things together. As an entrepreneur, you mix those skills and you become skillful.
We do.
So, so how do you do that? Is it depends on your competency and how competent you are. Not that you've been to school and you have these, I know how to do this task or that. That begins in your mind, right?
Hmm.
And that has something to do with this resonance with us and with others. So one of the things we talked about today was this idea of entanglement. And I used physics because quantum physics says that things are always linked together, all these particles, and they're always impacting each other. That means what you do in real life impacts that person that is your partner at home. It impacts your employee. It impacts and what they do impacts you. You see, you had a family emergency,
Oh, I did.
and that made you different at this moment today. Your
It,
decisions are impacted by others, right? That is the idea of entanglement. So, what I wanted to spend today, so I just wanted to kind of connect us to the previous thing. Usually, I would ask you some questions about that, but let's move forward because of the time limits. Uh, Tell us, Rachel, in about 3 to 4 minutes, what is your business? What do you do? And then why the hell are you doing this?
well, I'll start with the why first. So my name is Rachell Dumas. I'm the founder of Her. It's a patient advocacy app. And I had 9 pregnancy losses before I finally had
How many?
nine.
Jeez.
Nine. I had 9 pregnancy losses before I finally had my baby, who is now a pot-bellied 3-year-old. But after I had my baby, 6 months later, I woke up blind and I had stroke symptoms. And I went to the emergency room. I'm also a registered nurse, by the way,
Mm,
with a neurology background, so I know my stuff. I went to the emergency room and I told the doctor everything that was happening. I requested a CT scan, which is just normal protocol for stroke symptoms. You have a CT scan.
hmm
He refused to do it. He dismissed me and he says probably a stomach bug. And he told me to go take Pepto-Bismol.
mm,
I told him I can't see you, sir. So that we know it's not a stomach bug, unless it's some new crazy stomach bug going around, which I know that's not the truth. I had to go to another emergency room. Immediately they did a CT scan, but it took 6 months of waking up blind every single day, to be diagnosed with a neurological issue called idiopathic intracranial hypertension. So for
hmm
no reason at all, fluid just builds up in my head. I started medicine. I got what's called a lumbar puncture to drain some of the fluid, and I thought I was fine. But 2 years later, I started with my symptoms again. They were worse, and I had to get 2 brain surgeries, and that was 8 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and in order to survive that,
You are fully excused for being late now.
I apologize about that. I feel really terrible. I'm
No,
so
I'm just kidding. But this is some journey, Rachel.
yeah, it's a big journey. And I only survived it because one, I could speak the medical jargon, so I speak the language. I knew neurology. Two, I worked in neurology so long, I knew neurologists and neurosurgeons. So they were able to help me through my journey and
Mm,
advocate for me. Three, I was able to do research and say, hey, I found this research study that GLP-1s, like Ozempic, uh, actually decrease the pressure in your head. And because of that, I was able to avoid a third surgery. I was planning my funeral in June, but now I'm talking to you today. So I was able to help myself survive this and also get a clean bill of health completely and start this company Herd,
hallelujah. Wonderful.
which allows other patients to do the same. So I created,
Absolutely wonderful. You know what you had done? That's what I call competency. You brought the knowledge that you had about nursing and neurology, and you pulled it together with your situations, and you drove impact, which is what exactly you did.
thank you so much. Absolutely.
That's called skillfulness. It's not skill. That's called skillfulness. Amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I wanted to
So,
equal the
yeah.
playing field for patients because I realized as a patient myself, but also as a nurse, patients can't advocate for themselves because they can't speak the language, they don't have the resources,
Mhm.
they don't know who to talk to in the healthcare system, and the healthcare system is not built for patients to have a voice. And
So you certainly have the reason to drive your impactfulness. I mean, no doubt about it.
Mhm.
There's no better foundation of a business than somebody having experienced the issue, the problem that needs to be solved. Uh, but how are you going to let people know? Because you can't share this thing with everybody every day.
Yeah,
And people, we live in a world that people have an 8 second um, span of attention. Now a fish, a goldfish, has more than 8 seconds. We have 8 seconds these days. So how are you planning to get the people to have the patience? Because this thing requires patience to have the app, to understand, to educate, and not all of those people are necessarily faced with that, and not
hmm
all of those people are necessarily have the competency to pull all the pieces together. How are you trying to get this to be used?
Yeah, so we have some distribution modes coming down the pipeline. So American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, Cancer Society, all these big national organizations I have talked to who already have their patient populations that receive great attention. They're interested in us and even interested in integrating into the app. So that's one way we're going about it. Also, we're getting traction as an employer benefit. So Herd would be accessible to whoever the employer who buys Herd. They're able to get all these features from the app. So we're doing it that way. And also, I have a lot of articles that are coming down the pipeline. My story has been a big distribution mode. People may not remember my face or my name, but they remember my story. And then I talk about the app, and they're like, they see themselves in my story. Somebody
Yeah.
is a patient at some point in their life, or a loved one is, and they don't understand the healthcare system, and they need.
Do you have a focus in this? Meaning, see, you can't be a WebMD,
Yeah.
right? Which covers all ills of society. That would be a massive task. So you mentioned Heart Association and Cancer Association and this association and that association. So what I see is, focus is not about doing not doing what you don't like, is ignoring what you like.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you can get really, I mean, people say, oh, this is fantastic. You could put it in your system. But between that time and when it happens, and if there's six of them, there's confusion, there's money needed to invest, there's APIs to be built, there's branding issues, there's 3 layers of corporate bureaucracy to get to. So, what I'm saying is your story is obviously. phenomenal in terms of survival. But I see and what I hear is a little bit of lack of focus in going to market.
Yeah, so our go-to-market has always, we said we were going to niche it down to maternal health. That is a population with big healthcare disparities, and they're a chronic health patient. So our
Hmm.
target in general is chronic health patients, but to niche it down to go-to-market is maternal health. Those patients we know are in and out of the hospital all the time, in and out of doctor's appointments all the time. So very great for a target patient. They're always going to be able to use it and then be able to use it after the baby in the postpartum period. So that is our niche. And then text.
Okay.
Right.
So how does that fit with the with your comment about the Heart Association?
Yeah, so American Heart Association, they focus on pregnancy. Cardiac issues is a big issue in the postpartum period and even during pregnancy. They actually, these companies have like a maternal health focus that we are going to tap into as well.
Okay, and your objective is to build a business and exit that business, or your
Yeah.
objective because
Yeah, it's
so
always that. 5 to
okay.
7 years. 5 years.
I I like to challenge that because I actually we did a recent one of our we have something called an expert circle
Okay.
where we bring in I'm having a conversation with someone who's built big businesses. I mean we've had some notable people who've built massive business. We even had the inventor of cell phone, Marty Cooper, on one time.
Okay.
We actually did a session with a good friend of mine who has sold his company and has been in this thing about this idea of fascination with exits.
Mm-hmm.
Big companies weren't built based on the fascination with exits. This is they've put this in our head and oh, exit, 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 exit. Why? If something is great to build, if you're having a baby,
Mm-hmm.
you love to be a parent. If you're having a business, that is your baby. But
Yeah.
we enter into this relationship. This has been forced with us because particularly investors are, so what's your exit strategy? They are not the father of that baby. They just want to get out and get out. And some businesses are not necessarily scalable to the level that they like it to be exitable. I'm not saying that's not the case for you,
Yeah.
but generally, I'm speaking. You should first think about the value that you deliver. If the business is gets big enough, it may give you a better life than you have ever imagined. Think of a Bill Gates or a Jeff Bezos. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
sell. They stayed. They think about. I mean, these big. I mean, really, the big players that you see all over the place. They didn't sell. They didn't exit. Right. So the key is if you build a good business and then there is an opportunity to sell, wonderful. But the first element is building the business. And what that means is finding the right value proposition, connecting with the right value audience, and so forth and so on. And now, if it gets big enough and you have all of that, but I know the problem is you need money to fuel this thing, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to tell the investors that I want to exit.
Yes.
Okay, so it becomes a and guess what? The minute they get in, now they're going to push you to do things you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they're idiots like me with some agenda of some form. So again, we derailed, but I want to go back to the size of your audience are people who are pregnant with some complications. How
Mm-hmm.
many people are there?
Yeah. So, I mean, the overall size of, we have to think about the audience who are also in digital health, right? That's about, in the United States alone, 330 million. When we talking about pregnant people, and it's not just
No, yeah, 330 is this. Forget about some Tom. All that stuff is to me is nonsensical. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter how many people on the face of the planet have digital. It just doesn't matter. It matters how many actually need you.
right.
Pregnant folks who are digitally savvy. And again, if you're doing pregnancy, you're looking at, 17, 18 years old, hopefully not, 20, 25 years old,
It's actually
to
later now.
40, 45. I mean, that's the so you have a wonderful blockage of target audience,
Yeah.
and
So
not
that's
all
what I
of
was
those, yeah,
talking.
and not all of those people are digital savvy, and not all of those pregnancies have issues.
Right.
Okay, so what is that portion of pregnancy? 10% of pregnancies have massive issues. 5% have how many have real issues?
Right. So overall, there's in the United States in a year, that's about 3.5 million people that are pregnant a year. Right.
Okay,
Um,
3.5 million people.
yes.
And
Some
how
are,
many of these have issues involved with them? 10%, 5%?
yeah. So if we're talking about during pregnancy and then also the postpartum period, that's way more than 5%, right? You also talking about if they have issues prior.
Got
So
it.
we're
Got
closer
it.
to like the 30-40% range.
Okay, so I wouldn't buy 40%, but I would buy 15%. 5% 1 year, 5% after, 5% before.
Yeah.
And okay, 15% of 300,000 people is what? 45,000, what,
We're also
50,000.
talking about like issues, like they might not be chronically ill, but like 30%, roughly 30% of pregnancies end in loss, right? So that's an issue, right? What if then you have to do further investigation?
Are there 200,000 people? I just doubled it, then tripled it. Are there 150,000 people?
Hmm.
Okay, let's say 150,000 people. How much are you charging for your app?
There's a subscription. So if you want as just a consumer, there's a subscription, 15, 25, and $40 a month. If you're an employer, we do 10, a flat rate of 10.
Okay, let's give everybody a $40 thing.
Okay, let's do 40.
Okay, so 200,000 times $40 is how much?
200 times 40. That would be 8 million.
Correct. So your entire market with this business model is $8 million. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a VC deal. So if you're going out and looking for money, they're going to say, well, if you get 100% of the people that have this challenge. So that probably, again, what I'm getting at is I'm not disappointing you in your, I'm trying to connect your desires and something that you've seen as a problem to the reality of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a gap that can be filled. So the question is now, is the pricing the right pricing? That's one. So if I increase the pricing, that would change. The question now is, uh, can this be bundled with other activities that they do that you can make money from? Things they buy, things they do, referrals to other doctors, referrals to other, so that you can increase the revenue. And how do you move this from pregnancy issues to some other issues, some other event-driven issues?
Right.
Event-driven could be you're a nurse, you could think of about 1,000. They are in an accident. They are in a, so they are event-driven issues so that you can expand your market dynamics. Now, you would start this, and I love the idea that some folks have been focusing on about creating what's called a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
If you can create a monopoly, then you can expand your value elsewhere. But the ability to have absolute focus in a very certain niche area and dominate the hell out of it gives you then the ability to need less money, less people, less resources, less headache,
Right.
because you've confined the problem. The less variables you introduce into a problem, the more opportunity you have to solve this quicker and more effectively. So
Right.
the niche is, I think, is perfect. Yes, I did say that it's $8 million total, but that's nothing to sneeze at. It's a good business. But if you go out and say, "Hey, I'm raising $1 million," the minute
Mm-hmm.
that you do that, the person who's doing it, again, the idiot like me, is gonna start putting all the numbers together and say, "Okay, this business at its best can make 8 million. How much can I make when I exit?" Not much, because I'm not going to be able to make my million 100x, which is what I expect, or a 10x, which is what I expect.
If we start with a niche, that isn't what we're going to exit with. We
Okay.
to
So,
expand.
correct. So my point is this: in terms of that's where I was headed. That
Mhm.
starting with a niche and then engineering what you're raising money for is the first step, because the ones that are going to be coming to you at this stage are coming to you because of your story.
Mhm.
And guess what? Your tenacity, your commitment, your ability to go through challenges gives you an unfair advantage.
Thank you.
An unfair advantage, because people are going to say, if there's somebody that's going to pull through and make this big, it's Rachel.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be
Right?
me.
So the narrowing of the universe, I would say, focusing on people who believe in what you have. And
Mhm.
I would think you could actually, with your story, I don't know where the app is. I don't know what stage it is. I don't know if it's driving any value at this point, or you can get it to that point. I think you can actually get money from partners and grants and donations that then excludes this idea that you have to sell it to somebody.
Okay.
Develop the niche. And when you dominate it, you can expand. And I think with your story, you have grants channels, you have opportunities with all these the same places where they said Heart Association and whatever, they have grants. The big corporates have opportunities to also explore. So I think that there's plenty of opportunities, but it's not necessarily going and raising money. I could be wrong. Somebody may say, "Hey, here's $10 million, go to it." But again, it depends where you are with your value proposition, and where you are with your actual app development, and maybe you could say, "Hey, I'm not a techie. I can't develop this thing, so I need money to hire a techie to do this."
Hmm.
Solve that with a partner, as opposed to your tenacity of going from one emergency room to the other should teach you something.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
there's there's always another path. And if it's not, you can build it.
I love how you put that.
Okay? It has been an absolute pleasure, Rachel. It was worth the wait.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I
Thank
can't.
you. I wish you the best. And
Thank you.
we do have this thing with folks that come to the hot seat. Uh, Christine is going to send you a link,
Okay.
and we can have another conversation, follow up, if you like, to go
I would,
deeper into your business, and see if I can be of any help.
I would love to. Thank you so much,
All right.
Sid. I appreciate your
Thank
expertise.
you. It has been an absolute pleasure. We learned tenacity and competency from you today.
Thank
And
you.
it's been pleasure to be with the rest of you today. And I wish you all the best. We have uh, some sort of what I call an assessment on that frequency and bands based on what that Dr. Horowitz has. Um, and if you like it, you can drop a note, or basically go to our social media, and we should be able to get you that. All right. It's been a
Absolutely.
pleasure. Stay competent.
Stay competent. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
It's time to evolve. Download the app by scanning the QR code and join the community that thrives on growth.